Good evening. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series. The week that was college football history review, the 1968 college football season. Today I'll be talking about week 8. Week 8 of the games that were played on November 9th, 1968. This is week 8. Continue to go fast and furious with this season. Here we go. We're going to start with Yale beating the University of Pennsylvania by a score of 30-13. Yale won its 15th straight game and with touchdown in each quarter had scored in 16 quarters in a row. Quarterback Brian Dowling threw first half touchdown passes to halfback Calvin Hill, who made leaping one-handed grab for 51 yards. And Del Martin for 12 yards. Penn registered score for the first time midway in the fourth quarter on quarterback Bernie Zabringes. I don't know to say his last name right, but anyway, sneak at in a 40-yard trip. Hill added 14-yard touchdown soon thereafter. He had 126 yards on 19 carries and a touchdown. Next, Army defeated Boston College 58-25. Penn State, the number 4 team in the country, beat Miami 22-7. Late in the first quarter, Miami wide receiver Ray Bellamy slipped behind deep secondary of Penn State for 78-yard touchdown pass from quarterback David Olivo. Leading 7-0 late in the second quarter, Hurricanes were wrecked by defensive end Tony Klein's knee injury. So Nate Lyons were able to aim their attack as replacement and away from the outstanding defensive end Ted Hendricks. Penn State halfback Charlie Pittman had 123 yards rushing on 26 carries, rushed for 93 yards, and all of teams' 9 of 3 touchdowns in the second half. Mountain linebacker Jack Ham fell on a fumble punt return and joined defensive linemen Mike Reed, Frank Spanziani, and Lincoln Lippincott and defensive back Neil Smith, limiting Miami offense to 20 yards in the second half. Next, North Carolina State defeated Duke 17-15. Alabama upset number 20 Louisiana State by a score of 16-7. Quarterback Scott Hunter, latest in 60s collection of the fine Alabama passers, threw 2 touchdowns, set up field goal with aerial game at Birmingham. Hunter hit halfback Pete Jelaba for 11-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter and wide receiver Donnie Sutton for 16-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. Now LSU enjoyed a brief 7-6 lead in the third quarter when quarterback Jim Gilbert gained 17 yards on delayed runs, and fullback Kenny Newfield blasted for 15-yard touchdown. So Louisiana State was number 20 in the country. They were upset by Alabama. I don't see where Alabama was ranked. It wasn't ranked in the top 10 or the top 20 in general. To the other AP poll. Because Southern California was number 1, followed by Ohio State, Kansas, Penn State, Tennessee, Purdue, Michigan, Missouri, Georgia, Texas, California, Notre Dame, Houston, Arkansas, Oregon State, Ohio University, Michigan State, Auburn, Wyoming, Louisiana State. Let's get into the next game. Auburn put off an upset. They beat number 5 Tennessee by a score of 28-14 in Birmingham. Okay, let's go. Yeah, Auburn was ranked number 18. They beat number 5 Tennessee 28-14. Now, conference leader Auburn stayed undefeated in the SEC with upset of unbeaten Tennessee and Birmingham nightcap. Quarterback Loran Carter threw 2 touchdown passes. Tigers raced to a 21-0 second quarter margin. Back came Volunteers on the arm of quarterback Bubba Weish, who had 337 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. 12 touchdown passes to wide receiver Gary Price and wingback George Sylvie. Despite heavy rush pressure all night, Carter iced it on the first play of the fourth quarter when he connected on 49 yards for a touchdown pass to end Tim Christian. Next, Florida got shut out by number 9 Georgia by score of 51-0 Jacksonville. Bulldogs sloshed through tornado warnings, heavy rain that nearly drowned Gators. Florida gained 209 yards, mostly in the own end, and lost 5 turnovers in its worst defeat since 1942. The Gators failed to cross midfield until trailing 41-0 in the third quarter. Meanwhile, quarterback Mike Cavin threw 2 touchdown passes as part of Georgia's stellar 13 of 16, 188-yard air game. Now, Bulldogs employed 7 different touchdown makers. Next, Minnesota upset Purdue, the number 16 in the country, by a score of 27-13. So, flagging Rose Bowl hopes of Purdue were dashed by Minnesota fullback Jim Carter, who had 101 yards on 17 carries, who doubled in winter as rugged hockey defenseman for the Gophers. Carter ran 49 yards to early first quarter touchdown, added 2 touchdown plunges after the defense forced interception and fumble. Now, Gophers defensive back Jeff Wright's interception allowed quarterback Ray Stevens to make it 27-0 at halftime on 3-yard rollout behind crushing block of wide receiver Chip Linton. Ailing Boilermakers quarterback Mike Phipps, who was 12 for 21 in the air, came off the bench to spark 2 touchdown drives in the second half. Next, Oklahoma beat Kansas, the number 3 team in the country. This was an upset right here. Yep. 27-23. Oklahoma upset number 3 Kansas. 27-23. Now, Jayhawks' Joey Rod atop the Big 8 hit a significant bump as Kansas fell full game behind Missouri, who won 42-7 over Iowa State. Oklahoma tailback Steve Owens had a big game, 157 yards on 37 carries, ran through and threw for 2 second quarter touchdowns. Lead was exchanged 4 times in the second half as tailback Donnie Shanklin and fullback John Riggins scored for the Jayhawks. Now, trailing behind 23-20, the Sooners went on an 81-yard drive with Owens gaining 32 yards and winning touchdown from 6-yard line. Defensive back Steve Barrett wrapped it up with 129 left as he made end zone interception of Kansas quarterback Bobby Douglas. The pass led for 28 for 240 yards, including early 75-yard touchdown. And finally, number 1 Southern California defeated California by a score of 35-17. Cal's bare minimum defense, which entered the game with nation's best 5.6 per game scoring average, had USC coach John McKay saying beforehand, "We're not nervous, we're scared." Instead, Trojans broke open game with 5 touchdowns in the middle quarters. Led by tailback O.J. Simpson, who had 164 yards on 31 carries, tallied on runs of 39 and 7 yards, then went to sideline to bask in 35-3 lead. California, meanwhile, the California quarterback Randy Humphries pitched a pair of fourth quarter touchdowns, passes against the Trojan reserves. So that concludes a look at November 9th, 1968, the week that was college football history review, the 1968 college football season, week number 8, November 9th, 1968. Now let's get into the AP poll as November 11th. Number 1 was Southern California. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Penn State. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, Missouri. Number 7, Kansas. Number 8, Texas. Number 9, Notre Dame. And number 10, Arkansas. That was the AP poll for the top 10. Number 11 was Tennessee. Number 12 was Auburn. Number 13 was Oregon State. Number 14, Houston. Number 15, Purdue. Number 16, Alabama. Number 17, Ohio University. Number 18, California. Number 19, Indiana. And number 20, Wyoming. So that concludes a look at the week that was college football history review, the 1968 college football season for week 8 of the games that were played on November 9th. 1968, that was week 9. Tomorrow I'll do week 10 as we continue to get close to the end of looking at this recap of the season, of the regular season, and definitely get into the other stuff, bowl games and all that. But we got week 10 to cover. I got week 10 to talk about as far as November 16th, 1968 is concerned. Looking forward to that. Please like and subscribe to the channel, man. I do videos magnitude tomorrow for week 9. The games that were played on November 16th, 1968 for week 9. Done with week 8, the games that were played on November the 2nd, 1968. Excuse me. beg your pardon, November 9th was week 8. Tomorrow I'll talk about November 16th, 1968. That'll be week number 9. Week 8, November 9th, 1968. That was week 9. I just talked about the recap of the games that stood out. So like, subscribe, and comment on the channel. Do a VOS Mag 2 tomorrow. Until then, talk to you soon.